Let's go now to storm expert Tim Deegan for the latest on Irma's path. Tim?
All right, thank you, Heather and Anthony. We told you there would be adjustments, and there will be more adjustments probably right through Saturday night and Sunday. But now is the time to deal with them when the weather's okay, right? And the new adjustment takes the track, or the official forecast track, right over the Jacksonville metropolitan area. Now, I know you're going to grab onto that, but I also want you to grab onto, take a deep breath and grab onto the intensity forecast and the change in the type of really animal we're dealing with. South Florida, that's a Category 4 hurricane. North Florida, southeastern Georgia, that's a Category 1. In other words, as bad as it looks, I know, for the line to come over us, and it's going to be bad. As we've been saying, and we will continue to say, Category 4 to Category 1. It will be weakening as it comes up the state, but we certainly want you to prepare for this hurricane that it looks like it will produce. Certainly, if we're going to go along with the official forecast track, and I told you that once we're in the cone of concern, we will first give you what the official forecast is from the National Hurricane Center, and then we'll talk about the variables from that. Remember, the cone shows where the variety and the variables of the actual forecast track may go. The cone isn't talking about where the damage may be. It's where the actual eye may make landfall. There are some legitimate models that still keep landfall right over Miami and Palm Beach, and others that still bring it farther off to the west, specifically the European model, which we will take a look at. That would be more of a concern for Naples and Fort Myers and possibly even Tampa. I probably shouldn't say concern. I would say where the catastrophic event will occur. Everybody should certainly be concerned and making decisions accordingly. But let's also now look at time, because again, I know you've seen the adjustment. Now, to put it in perspective, this adjustment is only about 30 miles farther west from the forecast we had at 11 p.m. Or I'm sorry, at 11 a.m., about 30 miles farther off to the west. But certainly a bigger deal because now you see the eye onshore versus offshore. But again, that means it's going to be over land for that period of time. Bad for the state of Florida. But for those of you who are simply concerned about the intensity, remember the forecast last night was for a Category 3 hurricane to be right here because more of it was going to be over land. Now we're talking about a Category 1 over southeastern Georgia because it's going to be over land for a period of time. So there's variables happening here. I know initially it looks bad, but as far as intensity, it won't be able to continue to intensify. And there's going to be some wind shear events going on as well, and we'll talk about that as well. So here is the look and the future track. Now, I increasingly want to focus on this because now that we're hearing about mandatory evacuations coming up, then plenty of you will be leaving. You don't want to go where the hurricane's going to go. And even if it diminishes from a Category 1 to only a tropical storm over North Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte on points westward, you don't want to go there. If it takes this track and the winds are strong out of the southeast, it may not be like Harvey, but there are going to be some incredible rainfall totals, maybe for Atlanta. But I think if it goes with this track, and I told you we'd stick with the forecast track, if it goes with the track, then places like Greenville and Charlotte, South Carolina, maybe won't have a big wind event. They will, but not as intense as us in Point South. But there will be some flash flooding as we get up into the, you get away from the lowlands of the Carolinas, you get up to the higher elevations, there will be some flash flooding up there. So you don't want to evacuate there. When you evacuate, you want to go out of harm's way. And so you will want to go west. Think Tallahassee westward. Hotels in Tallahassee are probably full already. But as far as just looking geographically, you want to go west. You do not want to go north. It won't be as bad inland, but still, they're going to have some incredible rainfall totals. So I will continue to emphasize that because so many of you will be leaving. Now, we're going to wrap it up for now, but because we're a day closer, we have now made this forecast not just a general forecast, but I have it broken down into 3 separate areas of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia, and we'll share that with you in just a few moments.